as we continue our lockdown phase 2 day 9 coverage in Lagos, FCT Abuja, Ogun State and other parts of the country. We bring you updates on the impact of the coronavirus 47, while 180,784 deaths have been recorded. In the area of recoveries, 701,426 recoveries have been achieved at the point. In Africa, confirmed cases are 25,139, with 1,205 deaths and 6,550 recoveries. Nigeria's confirmed cases are currently 782, with 25 deaths and 197 recoveries. We begin with the story that the Executive Board of the International Monetary Fund will meet next week, Tuesday, April 28th, to decide on Nigeria's request for financial aid. Nigeria submitted a request for $3.4 billion under the IMF's Rapid Financing Instrument. The Rapid Financing Instrument is a short-term facility that typically bears interest. Speaking at the just concluded spring meeting of IMF and World Bank Group, Kristalina Georgieva, the IMF Managing Director, said aid requests from sub-Saharan Africa countries will be prioritized during the COVID-19 pandemic. Georgieva said sub-Saharan Africa ought to be the center of our attention, and it is. We now have more than 30 countries applying for emergency financing. We are prioritizing and rapidly responding to this request, recognizing how critical this lifeline is for them. The coronavirus pandemic has disrupted global supply chains, with ripple effects in various sectors. The pandemic is said to have wiped out at least 30% of global oil demand, which led to supply glut and a dip in crude oil prices. In the U.S. crude oil markets, the Brent crude oil rebounded from 2 days of losses, while the U.S. futures surged on Wednesday, bolstered by tentative discussion of additional supply cuts from OPEC producers and U.S. inventory bills that were less dire than some anticipated. Oil trading has been more volatile than ever in recent days as the market has become overwhelmed by a growing supply glut and catastrophic declines in demand as governments order people to stay at home, restricting travel and halting daily life to stop the spread of the coronavirus. U.S. futures fell deep into negative territory yesterday, closing a record minus $37.63 a barrel, while Brent crude touched its lowest level since June 1999 early today. As of 1:20 p.m. Eastern Time, which is 5:20 here in Nigeria, Brent LCOC1 was up $1.54, or 8%, at $20.87 a barrel. Earlier in the session, the global benchmark fell to $15.98, its lowest since June 1999. U.S. West Texas Intermediate Crude CLMO futures for June delivery rose $3.09, or 26.7%, to $14.66 a barrel. Since the start of the year, Brent has fallen more than 65%, while WTI has dropped around 75%. The world's major oil producers, led by the Organization of the Petroleum Exporting Countries and its allies, have attempted to wrest control of spiraling inventories by announcing a collective cut of 9.7 million barrels per day in supply in early April. But those cuts will come too slowly to offset rising inventories, which hit 518.6 million barrels in the United States last week, just 3% off an all-time record, the Energy Department said. If storage continues to increase at the end of the day, which seems likely considering all the Saudi barrels knocking at the door, then we are going to get to maximum storage sometime in not so distant future, said Bob Yoga, Director of Futures at Mizuho in New York. Saudi Arabia yesterday said it was ready to take extra measures with other producers, and Iraq made similar comments. The next formal meeting by OPEC and allies, a group known as OPEC Plus, is in June 2020. Even without another formal agreement, decreasing storage capacity and falling demand could force producers to cut more. An OPEC source told Reuters it was logical to expect the market to force more cuts on OPEC Plus producers. U.S. crude inventories, U.S. oilseed, ECI, rose 50 million barrels last week, in line with analyst expectation, though some even predicted a build of more than 20 million barrels. Meanwhile, U.S. gasoline stocks, U.S. oilseed, ECI, rose by just 1 million barrels, less than expected, while products supplied, a proxy for demand, increased modestly for the first time in weeks. In Spain, the majority of nurses say they have been working during the COVID-19 crisis without enough protective equipment, according to a study by the Spanish College of Nursing. Of the 11,000 nurses surveyed across Spain, 74% said there were no masks in their work units and 55% reported a lack of protective gowns. However, the Spanish College of Nursing believes there are many more cases among health workers than have been reported, as the study reveals 2/3 of nurses reported having symptoms but weren't able to get tested. The report also reveals 5% of nurses had to work with symptoms. Madrid, the hardest hit by the virus of Spain's 17 regions, was also the region with the most number of nurses who reported having symptoms compatible with COVID-19. In Nigeria, the Cross River State Governor, Professor Ben Ayade, has warned that any further extension of lockdown of the country in response to the ravaging COVID-19 pandemic will spell doom for the country. He said any further extension of the lockdown will give rise as to uncontrollable youth restiveness, adding that it was better to lock out than lock down. The governor spoke at the Industrial Park, Calabar. Ayade said the recruitment of 8,000 youths was targeted at avoiding social tension in view of the harsh economic impacts created by COVID-19. He noted, with prices of oil falling, locking out is far better than locking down because another 2 weeks of lockdown will find this country under siege by young people. There is no way you can hold down these young energies for too long. It is demographic, it is statistics. 65% of the population is below the age of 35, and the virus itself does not have penetrative force in such a demography, and that is what we have to recognize as a country. The governor explained that the difference in the climate conditions between the West and Africa was the reason the pandemic is ravaging that part of the world. He continued, our demography is different from the West. Our climatic conditions are different. If you take the wind speed, the wind directions, sun intensity, radiation, and the factors that govern the movement of a virus, ours is a situation that makes it difficult to spread with the speed it is spreading in the Western world. So our response strategy should reflect our environmental sensitivity. May be what COVID-19 will eventually do is to sharpen the consciousness of young people to come together. Speaking further, he said that will be very dangerous, and so to nip that in the bud, we have to find jobs for them because sincerely, that is the provision in the Constitution, Section 14, subsection 2, which says the welfare and security of the people are the primary essence of government. The Cross River State Governor disclosed that industries established by his administration will absorb the youths and get them engaged. He explained that the urgency of the situation had forced his administration to slow down on major projects. According to him, at this time, major projects have to slow down and we have to switch attention to the young people who for no fault of theirs are out of school. The governor advocated channeling donations to the COVID-19 campaign to job creation. From him, he said if you have international support of 21 billion naira, you have to find how to use it to create jobs and not how to use it on COVID-19 campaign because it will end one day, he said. And that's definitely is one of the interesting opinions and submissions from the subnational leader. That will be all for our lockdown phase 2 day 9 coverage of COVID-19 pandemic and also our economics discuss COVID-19 updates. You can visit our website www.proshareng.com to get more updates from our news stories and videos. ProShare, Nigeria's leading information hub, has packaged for you a platform that gives you credible and reliable market data and analysis on the impact of COVID-19 on the global and Nigerian economy. All you need to do is to log on to proshareng.com/COVID-19. You can also follow our social media platforms showing on the screen for further updates on our market reports. Till we come your way again, thank you for watching, have a nice day, and stay safe.